The main plot of Halo 3 ODST revolves around a group of orbital drop shock troopers that are pretty much an homage to Firefly. The leader is Sergeant Edward Buck, played by Nathan Fillion. The weapons specialist is Dutch, played by Adam Baldwin. The pilot is Mickey, played by Alan Tudyk. And then there's Romeo, a jackass black guy, played by a white guy. He doesn't have anything to do with Firefly. I'm just wondering where are Gina Torres, Marina Baccarin, Jules State, or Summer Glau. Part of what makes Firefly such a shiny show is how there are so many female main characters, each given strong personalities, and yet Bungie's homage to the show only has guys. The player takes control of a new recruit called the Rookie, a very bare-bones character in contrast to the Master Chief. The Rookie is really just a vessel for the player to join Buck's squad, and yet can only be played as a male character. It wouldn't have taken much to make the Rookie gender optional. They could even import the female voice from Halo 2. Just a bunch of screams and shouts and general sounds of pain. My eyes! I wouldn't have to pay a voice actor very much, but there is such a perception that men and boys are the only ones that play video games that Bungie didn't think it was a good idea to make the character gender even an option. I mean, it's not like the Rookie has some grand mythology attached to him. All that we know about him is that his initials are JD, which is probably a reference to John Doe, and it's not like that couldn't be Jane Doe. He has a picture of a woman in his drop pod, but that's just a joking reference to programmer Chris Butcher, whose face was edited onto a woman's body. She isn't a character any more than Chris Carney is a continent on Delta Halo, and anyway, they could make a female Bungie employee show up as a man in the female version of the Rookie. Even when Tobias Buckell featured him in Dirt, one of the short stories of Halo Evolutions, he's just a framing device for someone else's story. He is really a non-character character. So the plot starts with Buck's squad checking out their landing zone in New Mombasa when Buck comes in with a woman. Captain Veronica Dare, played by Tricia Helfer, who played number 6 in Battlestar Galactica.
Orders are orders.
Come on, Veronica. What could be more important than that carrier?
My orders.
We get the distinct impression that Buck and Dare have dated in the past. Dare works for Oni and is coming with Buck's squad as a superior, which causes awkwardness on Buck's end because of their relationship. But I think Dare receives full respect as a female officer by Buck in the plot, if not all the characters. Romeo is a sexist jackass who sexually objectifies her.
No, beautiful.
But he isn't respected by the plot.
Pods. Now.
Although technically a good guy, he's set up to be an unlikable good guy.
Hey, what the hell kind of armor was she wearing?
Dunno, Mickey. I wasn't looking at her gear.
After objectifying her, he throws his weight around by questioning Dutch's weapon choice, and then Buck chews him out for showing disrespect to a superior officer. Though Halo 3 ODST has an ensemble cast, I really feel that Buck is the main character, or at least the most sympathetic one. So as Romeo is set up as antagonistic to Buck, he is also set up as an antagonistic figure to the plot. This is emphasized when Romeo awakens the Rookie with a pistol whip, setting him up as antagonistic to the player character too. We're not supposed to like him. There's then a cool sequence when the ODSTs drop feet first into hell.
I take it back. Navy got its butt kicked. Hey, Romeo, remember when I told you to shut your mouth? Yeah? Consider that a standing order.
We're not supposed to like him. Dare changes the trajectory at the last minute, indicating she has some mission that she hasn't told them about. Then Regret's carrier jumps into slipspace, causing the massive explosion seen in Halo 2.
We have a little problem with our entry sequence, so we may experience some slight turbulence and then explode.
One of the pods hits the Rookie's pod, causing him to crash, and he wakes up 6 hours later in the dead of night, emerging into a metaphorical hell, as the city is now owned by Covenant forces. He searches around for evidence of what happened to his squad, and we're treated to flashbacks that allow us to take control of other members of Buck's squad. 6 hours ago, Buck crash lands but does not get knocked out. He radios Dare and they have a conversation about their past relationship. Buck indicates that finding out she worked for Oni caused problems, but later indicates that Dare ended the relationship when Buck asked her to marry him. The relationship seems very realistic for military couples, and I think it's a nice way to integrate the idea of female soldiers beyond simply tossing them into Halo 2, which I did like. Dare tells Buck that her hatch is jammed, so Buck fights through Covenant to get to her pod. But when he gets there, he sees she's gone. So even though it was set up as a damsel in distress situation, Dare is not the damsel she seems to be, but is rather a cunning Oni operative on a secret mission. An engineer then shows up and probes him. Romeo kills it.
Hey, Romeo. You got your ears on? Oh, I get it. Permission to speak, smartass.
Yeah, Romeo's a jackass. Romeo suggests that it killed Dare. Buck doesn't want to think about it. We, the players, don't believe that because for one thing, the body is completely gone, and for another, Bungie wouldn't have introduced a mysterious character without some kind of payoff later on. Meanwhile, Dutch and Mickey meet up and help local Marines fight through the Covenant and blow up the Oni HQ to help prevent the Covenant from accessing intelligence. They go to meet with Buck and Romeo, who chat about the rookie. Buck wants to go rescue him, while Romeo says to give up on him.
What if it were you down there?
Just saying. I ain't dead.
You're a piece of work, Romeo.
We're not supposed to like Romeo. So the squad joins up and fights more Covenant. A really nasty brute shows up, and like any moderator witnessing a jackass like Romeo, brings down the hammer. This is a moment of catharsis, where we like seeing Romeo get hurt because we feel he deserves it. Like with the crone, he is punished by the narrative, also through a brute. Buck and his squad have some more adventures and manage to commandeer a Covenant Phantom. They almost get away for good, but then Buck realizes where Dare went and goes back for her. In the present, the rookie also receives a distress call from her and goes to rescue her. The rookie heads down into the Oni tunnels, representing the lowest levels of hell. When the rookie finds Dare, she's ready to kill whoever it is, making her much less of your stereotypical damsel in distress, and more like a regular soldier who just got pinned down for a while. She gives the rookie orders to help her secure the superintendent's data, giving us the first actual mission as the rookie. She also makes some disrespectful references to things the player did earlier as Mickey and Dutch, and indicates that the rookie must be very powerful only because she doesn't know that he was unconscious for 6 hours. Because Dare has been active all night, this makes her seem that much more powerful than even the player character. The rookie and Dare enter the computer core and encounter Virgil the engineer. Now the story is a little different depending on the player's actions. If you've played through without seeking out the terminals and hearing Sadie's story, Dare is the one who coaxes Virgil out into the open. If you've completed Sadie's story, the rookie recognizes Virgil and coaxes it out himself. Story-wise, I think it was a good decision, as the discovery of the backstory actually affects the player character in some way. From a feminist perspective, however, I'm disappointed because it removes a demonstration of Dare's power. For all she's indicated to be powerful, she doesn't actually do very much. Virgil turns on the security cameras and we see both Brutes and Buck approaching.
Buck!
Funny, I always think she's saying something else. Dare radios Buck and tells him not to shoot anything pink, meaning Virgil. Virgil is interesting because while the character is given the masculine name, like with much of the Covenant aesthetics, it has the traditionally feminine color of pink, in addition to its blue. Characterizing something pink as masculine is a bit gender transgressive, but this is lessened by Virgil's complete alienness and a role more comparable to Team Pet than a fully respected alien ally like the Arbiter. Seriously, Dare pets Virgil. Who would actually look at an elite and want to do some petting?
This is it, baby.
Yeah, no. Anyway, this leads into a mission to escort Virgil out of the city. It's comparable to a mission in the first Halo, where the Chief must protect Captain Keyes. As this was set up with Dare calling for help, it would be logical to presume that Dare would be the subject of such a mission, but here she's just one of the immortal NPCs protecting Virgil alongside you. She is not at all the stereotypical princess in a castle, like Cortana in Halo 3. Now in the elevator, we have an instance of the slap slap kiss trope taken to a more violent level as Dare flat out punches Buck before kissing him. It characterizes Dare as tough in that she doesn't slap and she can play with the boys by roughhousing with Buck, but it also plays into the sexist meme where women are perceived as innately weak, so only she can lash out in an aggressive fashion. Buck can't punch her in response without it being perceived as some kind of abusive relationship. In other words, Bungie doesn't respect women as much as Joss Whedon does in Dollhouse, where he shows women as targets of aggression the same way he shows men as targets of aggression. I am not just making fun of the feminists who criticized Topher punching Bennett in Dollhouse. I am dead serious. That scene represents a real kind of progressive gender relations, while the scene in Halo 3 ODST ultimately just reinforces the sexist perception of women as delicate and to be placed on a pedestal. When a man and a woman can beat each other up and then kiss the way Jack Harkness and John Hurt can on Torchwood, then we'll be approaching gender equality. All that said, I like that Dare's the one who kisses Buck. When they come out on the surface, Buck and Dare start bickering. It's not of feminist relevance except for the fact that it continues to make them look like real people and further validates Dare as a female fighter alongside Buck. Virgil activates a garbage truck, and Dare urges Buck to follow her as she takes Virgil out of the city. She is very tough looking and much more respectable than Miranda Keyes urging her people
To war.
because she actually feels like a person and not a mini superhero. Buck looks at her with admiration, really imbuing her with power,
Imbue. That's the word.
and then gives the rookie some dating advice.
You ever fall for a woman?
Make sure she's got balls.
While Buck imbues Dare with power, it is ultimately only within the paradigm of male power.
We are dropping into hell, troopers! Time to go up here!
Dare ascends from the traditional female level to receive the full respect of a man. But women are not respected as powerful. She has balls, symbolic masculine power. Trying to put forward a concept of gender equality by imbuing a woman with masculine characteristics evocative of power is like saying that you're so committed to racial equality that you forgot Barack Obama was black. He can't stand on his own as a respectable black guy. You have to have confused him for a white guy. So they get Virgil out of the city. Romeo objectifies Dare again. Buck and Dare get together. The Prophet of Truth excavates the Ark portal. Roll credits. After the credits, Dare brings Sergeant Johnson to meet Virgil. Johnson's main characteristics are that he's badass and says funny lines. He's explored more in the novel Contact Harvest, but in the games he's just a badass action hero, and this is the first time we've seen him since his death in Halo 3. So his more likable features are exaggerated to please the fans. He's badass and says funny lines. He takes right over and does things that shock the ONI agents. He even imposes social dominance over Virgil by having it light his cigar. He is just that cool. So yeah, a man takes over a woman's operation, but I say it's okay because it's Johnson. Dare's just there to introduce the fan favorite. I don't care about that scene. One good point that must be noted about Sadie and Dare is that they're not sexualized at all. All of Sadie's stories drawn in a style of gritty realism, and Dare is rendered as just another soldier. She's like the female Marine in Halo 2. If you're attracted to women, you may find her attractive, but she's not created to be a sex object like Cortana. That's another reason I think Romeo's comments are to be ignored as just obnoxious comments from a real jackass. Player is not drawn in to objectify her alongside him. The main problem with Halo 3 ODST is that while the two female protagonists are cool characters on their own, they are vastly overshadowed by the male characters. Even within Sadie's story, the gender focus is masculine. It's an occurrence of the Smurfette principle trope. One female character for each group of characters. Being a woman is depicted as a divergence from the norm, even though women outnumber men by 2 percentage points. In the case of Dare, she's really just a girlfriend character, comparable to Uhura in the Star Trek reboot. She's in the same group as the men, but she's in the background and more defined by her relationship with Buck. She is indicated to be very powerful, but those are pretty much just informed traits. We don't actually see her being powerful. Halo 3 ODST is a game about Buck's squad. You get to play as 5 different characters. 5 different men are given prominence, while the one woman is an NPC and gone for most of the game. There is no good reason why you can't play as a female character, especially considering how fake a character the rookie is. Technically, you can play as Dare in firefight mode, outside the story where you just fight the Covenant until you run out of lives. But you have to unlock her, and she's the hardest one to unlock. It's not very friendly to the female gaming crowd who just want to play as their own gender. Now, a lot of the stuff I complain about makes sense from a storytelling perspective. It makes sense that the rookie coax out Virgil because he should recognize it from the terminals. And it makes sense that you don't play as Dare because she has the big secret about Virgil that you wonder about for most of the game. I don't want to hack away at a good story to put in a smattering of elements I like in a completely contrived manner. I want Bungie to have realized that they should have had more of a female prominence and gone back to the drawing board to come up with a better story. Similar to Halo 2 writer Jason Jones at one point realizing he was using the story to work out emotional issues with his bad breakup, and that the story suffered by having Miranda betray the Chief like he felt his girlfriend betrayed him. So he rewrote the story to have the betrayal part be part of the Covenant politics and stuff. Rewrites happen all the time.